I have some amazing microbrands coming up over the next few weeks, and starting today with a brand new one out of Sweden. Back in the day, it was hard to find any decent Swedish watch brands, but these days we have plenty of great ones. And here's yet another unique and fun design that I hope people will warm to and support. Pierre Strömbäck happens to hail from the same part of southern Sweden as me, so chatting to him online certainly took me back to my childhood in Ödåkra. I can, however, assure you that regardless of how much I may or may not like the founder behind the new brand, if I can't get behind a watch design, I often choose not to accept the land for a review. The fact of the matter is, I put in so much work in these reviews, and if my heart's not in it, I simply can't be bothered wasting time on something that I don't like at least parts of. Pierre is a civil engineer, and I can't say I'm surprised. Much like Second Arrow here in Melbourne that has another engineer behind it, the attention to detail and the aim to achieve something genuinely unique is obvious. The brand name came out from a child's interpretation of the phrase "I love you", and the modern name of Arvet means inheritance or legacy in Swedish if you're interested. Even the modest watch pouch is a variance that I've never seen before, and there's a lot to unpack here with the many small touches. Being a new brand where it is frightening to take a chance on having a ton of watches produced in various colors, Kickstarter is what will be used to get some certainty here, and the campaign goes live on the 21st of May. I know that's a blocker for many, but do your research and don't forget, there are many brands today that started this way because they had to, and it can be fun to be part of a journey that is successful in the end. As they say, there's no time like the present, so let's get stuck in. When it comes to cars, whether that's photographing or observing them in person, they often talk about the stance of a car, as in how does it appear in its entirety in the environment that it's in. I thought about this when wearing the Alato all week, since it just seems to sit on the wrist in a very particular way. And I mean in a good way, so that's something to consider when we go into the measurements here. It is 38mm in diameter, but as you can see, it certainly doesn't wear small. Lug to lug is just under 45mm and lug width is 20mm. It's 11.2mm thick, water resistance is 100 meters, and sized up for my wrist it weighs 131 gram. I think it wears incredibly well on my wrist. Something called a rouleau triangle is a huge inspiration for Pierre. This shape is constant when rotated, and we'll notice a few of them, like for instance the indices here at 12, 3, 6 and 9. To me this is the only ever so slightly controversial part of this watch. I'm on board myself, but it is a split 50-50 to others I've shown it to. The indices are well made on this prototype, but will be crisper in production, I'm told. You'll be able to choose between black, blue and a burgundy red. I clearly have the blue here. Getting up close, we get a pressed guilloche pattern on a slightly recessed circle, which is surrounded by lines forming a larger circle, which meets textured patterns at the minute track. The circles are not perfectly painted on this prototype, but this is a known fact and will be rectified, I'm assured. From a distance, it's quite the effect, but subtle. You can tell there's something special there without being able to determine exactly what. The logo under 12 is going to be ever so slightly larger in production, but it's still discreet and attractive enough to not be bothersome. The model and print at just above the 6 is good quality as well, and again, not too overbearing unlike some, and I'm looking at you, Tudor. The teardrop-shaped hands I think are really quite beautiful, and particularly the second's hand is both curved and slender. I think they are gorgeous, but I did express that another layer or two of lume would do well if possible, but it could be challenging since there's only so much surface space for this obviously. The fixed bezel holds a double-domed sapphire crystal with 5 layers of AR coating on the inside, and it's a lovely bit of glass with that vintage feeling curve right at the edge, which looks so pretty when glanced at from the side. The case is, as mentioned, where the magic seems to happen. It is ever so slightly curved downwards on the wrist, but as you can see, these dramatic sides slope downwards on the side, and it both reduces the size on the wrist and increase it, so the whole case is almost like a magic rectangle on your wrist. It really is quite a cool effect, and kudos also for the perfect fit to the bracelet on the H-shaped case, and again, drilled lugs making it easier to try the watch on other straps. The sign crown is bolt-shaped, which looks pretty good, but I am personally not a fan of these since the edges digs into my precious little fingertips when using the crown, but each to their own here. The back of the watch has a large display back showing off the Miyota caliber 9039. A good choice since they are renowned to be reliable, easy to have serviced, and a power reserve of 42 hours is acceptable. But it is the gilded custom rotor that steals the show here, with its patterned logo and engraved Sweden note. There is a bit of an Easter egg here though, and that's the Lume curves on the edges of the triangle, and this is truly a fun detail that we'll come back to in the Lume section. This bracelet tapers all the way down to 15.5mm from 20 at the lug width. It's comfortable to wear, has screw-in links, and as per all good microbrands these days, comes with a clasp with on-the-fly adjustments, which will never get old in my book. The mid-links are polished, and that's something you'll need to think about if you're someone who gets really bothered with scratches, since they will most definitely scratch. What does this intricate case design look like then with other strap options? Well, let's check it out. As mentioned, there are a few things to check out Lume-wise here too at the front and around the back. There really is no point pumping out watches that look the same. Endless dive watch clones and clones full stop of other more established designs. There is a market for these things, but I do believe you get bored and move on eventually in your collecting phase. Something as fun and unique as this though, that's worth rewarding, backing and wearing for years to come, and you are unlikely to tire of it. The good news here is that the first 48 hours on the 21st of May launch will have an early bird price of $395 US. And even at the full asking price of $458 US, it's a reasonably priced piece considering what's on offer here. I've enjoyed wearing this piece this week, and I'm sure that the next recipient of this prototype will also. But I'm also quite certain that many of you will enjoy it on your wrist should you back one. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you as always for watching.